Trucker Dave, and today we're getting back on the 250. So we're back on the 250 for a little while. The parts, I don't have the parts for the Torino yet, and this is like the one last warm day we're going to have probably for the rest of the year, and I wanted to do something. It's not quite warm enough for silicone and all that, and that kind of irritates me because I really was hoping to have this thing going. But what we're going to do on the F-250 is, it's been plagued with electrical gremlins, and I'm going to show you how to fix these things easy. These are a lot of very common problems with older cars, and we have some gremlins in the tail lights, and some in the dash, and some under the dash. And we're going to go through those, and I'm going to show you that these things really aren't as daunting as a lot of people think. You know, these are things you can fix yourself, and they're easy. You just have to have the basics, and that's what I'm going to show you. So let's get going. So the first thing we're going to do is diagnose why the dash lights quit working last night. I hit a bump, they all went out. And this has got the old school glass barrel type fuses, so those can be a little tricky to find, but we'll find some. So let's troubleshoot it and see how it works. Okay, now that we're under the dashboard, we see that the fuse box is not mounted, which is not a good thing. It's actually supposed to be screwed up here. So that right there is a problem in itself, but we'll tackle that here in a minute. So let's find the instrument cluster fuse and get that out of the way. We'll find the instrument cluster fuse, and that little short one is it. So let's get that fixed. This little white line right here is actually the power wire for the tach. The tach has a light in it, so what we're going to do is, it was hooked up right here on this side of the fuse, and so we'll stick that in there, and we'll check the tach. Come up here, pull the lights, nothing comes on. So we'll go and we'll stick it on the other side of the tach and try it out and see what happens. So there we are. Let's go over here, pull that, boom, light comes on. So we got a bad fuse. So I dug through my pile of fuses, and I can't seem to find one that is the right size. I have every other fuse known to man, but I can't find a shorty. I don't think that one will work, so we'll go measure it, but I'm doubting it, so let's see. The shortest fuse I have is just too long, so I'm gonna have to go to town and get one here today, so I guess we'll have to do that. Sitting here digging through my old harness, I remembered I had a fuse block out of a 76 Cutlass. Thought I had one out of another Torino too, but I can't seem to find it. It was up, maybe that's it. Nah, but we go through this fuse block here, and apparently, where is it? Somebody else had trouble too, because that fuse is all wrapped up in aluminum foil, so yeah. Now I did something highly unorthodox, but it'll work till you can get it. I found a 15 amp fuse. Believe it or not, you can actually cram it in the side here, and it will stay, and everything works, and you still have a fused link. So that's something you can do for the time being, but this isn't permanent. I am going to get a regular fuse for this here, probably today or tomorrow or next week or maybe next year, but it'll get changed eventually. So now that the dash lights work, let's check them out. Oh, pull the lights on. That comes on. And you can't see that. You can't see that, but I know they're on because this is coming on. So let's go on to the next thing. So now that we got the dash lights going, we're gonna go off to the next thing, which is the indicators, because neither of the indicators in the truck work. Okay, so when we turn the key on here and we turn that on, you can hear them ticking, but they're not coming on. And you know, even with the hazards, even the hazards aren't coming on. And you go outside and check, you know, everything's working. So we'll fix that. This is actually a fairly common problem with these old trucks. This one does it, my Cutlass does it, the Torino does it on the left-hand turn. The signals all work on the outside, but it's in the dash. And it's not so much the bulb going out, it's just they get old, they get corroded, and they get bad ground. So when these old trucks, I can actually reach up there and grab the bulb. So let's grab the bulb and take it out and see what's wrong with it. And chances are it just probably needs to be cleaned and reset. So as I'm laying down here underneath the truck, all I have to do is just reach up to behind the dash, feel around, and that's the speedometer. And here it is, light bulb. Just pull it out and check it. And I don't think it's bad, but I have extra ones of these, so I'll just go ahead and replace it. And that way we know we have a good bulb. These are really easy. They just, the old bulb pops out. The new bulb, just check your connections to make sure. New bulb just slides right in and clicks in, and you're good to go. So now we got this one going. Let's go to the next one. We now have both of them going, and it only took about 3 minutes to do both of them. So that was an easy fix. Let's head on to the next thing. What I showed you is just generalized. On these old trucks, it's actually really easy. You can get your hand back there, you pull the old bulb out, put the new one in. On some of these cars, you might have to take a few screws out. If you're unsure how to do that, consult an owner's manual or a maintenance guide, or talk to a mechanic, you know, if you can do that without costing you an arm and a leg. You know, if you can change out a 30-cent bulb for 30 cents rather than, you know, an hourly rate, which there's going to be a minimum, do that. You know, this is just a way to save money, and there really wasn't anything wrong with it. Just the contacts really just needed to be cleaned, but since we had them out, we might as well put brand new bulbs in. Just good preventive maintenance. So now let's go on to the next thing. On this old truck, you know, I haven't had any problem with this side, but for some reason this side it's just been a constant pain. So we're going to go ahead and troubleshoot that, and then put a tag light in. The blinkers and all that work, it's just the park light is bad, so at night I risk getting a ticket like I thought I was going to get one last night because I don't have a tag light and one of the park lights is out. So we need to get that fixed and get legal. I got my old Montgomery Ward battery charger hooked up because the lights are going to be on, so we might as well make sure the battery doesn't run down, because these trucks do act different whether it's running or whether it's just on strict battery. So we wanted to have this close to driving conditions as possible so we can get the best results. To make things easier, last night I actually drew out my own schematic. It's a whole lot easier than people think. And if you draw out your own schematic, you can cut everything else out except what you want to look, and it really simplifies the whole process. So I wrote down what I needed. I got all the wires coming into the harness, into the taillight setup. I know exactly what I'm looking for, and so basically we're going to be replacing the brown wire and then regrounding it, and we'll go from there. So let's get to it. So I've got the light taken out. I know it's not the socket. It could be, well, this mess here. So we're going to go over all of that. I've already rerun the green wire. This is the brown. This also goes into the side marker light that's not there. So we're not going to worry about that. So what we're going to do is take this brown wire, run a new one, and we're probably going to run a new ground too. And it's really easy. It just plugs into that mess under there. So let's get to it. So now we have an interesting dilemma. All the park lights work, but if you turn that turn signal on with the park lights on, it doesn't work, and that one goes out. So, but if the park lights are off, everything works like normal. So I ran a jumper wire. We're seeing what that is. And now I'm going to check all the grounds, and hopefully that'll be it, and we can fix that. Well, we went through a few tests, checked a few things out, and I determined that the socket itself, the stock socket, was shot. So we went ahead and replaced this, and I'll show you what we did. This doesn't look as bad as it appears. I actually just took some of the wires out so I could check them, so I could run a jumper wire to make sure that the sockets and everything, there it is, the sockets and everything were running like they were supposed to. Everything checked out. The ground's all checked out. So I went ahead and did a function check with the socket, took the light out, checked it all out. It looked a little worn. So I pulled another socket I had laying around, an aftermarket, plugged it in. Thing worked flawlessly. Didn't take too long. The troubleshooting probably took about an hour, but I work slow. So it didn't take that long, and now we'll tie these wires back up, run some zip ties, and get it all up looking good, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so now that we got the park lights going, what we have to do now is put a tag light in, and that's actually really easy. There's one wire, hooks right into the main wire that goes to the park lights, and I'll show you how to do that. I was at O'Reilly's today, and I picked up this tag light. It's a universal fit. It will actually snap right into this hole, and we'll just plug it right into this line right here, and everything should just go right on. So we'll get that in, and we'll make that work. Now what's neat is on the stock wiring harness, you see those little things hanging right there. That's actually for the original tag light. So if you have a stock setup, that's plugged right into the harness. So, but we're gonna do it the easy way, so let's get it going. So we got the light hooked up to a length of wire right here. It's brown, which is the same color as the harness, just to make it easier. It's real easy. You just take it. It's supposed to aim right at the light here, and she literally just pops right in. Well, it's supposed to pop right in. Aftermarket bumpers, they're great. So yep, there we go. She popped right in. So let's get it hooked up to a power source and see how she works. Okay, so I got the wire stripped. I'm gonna touch it with the park lights here and hold that. And it's internally grounded, and yep, there we go. She's on. On, off, on. Okay, so sweet. So now let's get this buttoned up. So as I sit here and wind this video up, it's starting to get dark. And we got it fixed, and I'll have some more pictures for you. The one takeaway was I could have prevented the tail light back there had I just listened to my instinct and replaced the socket to begin with. Because I got the socket to work, kind of, I assumed that it was still good. But what the socket was doing was grounding itself out when you went to turn right. So I kind of had a little bit of a fail there, but once I replaced the socket, everything's golden. You know, make it easy on you. I tested it all out. It's all fine. But I could have done better, and I probably should have, and, you know, lesson learned. I hope this video has been a little bit informative on just easy. It's a whole lot easier. Electrical is a whole lot easier than people think. It's just plugging things in, plugging things out. You're just connecting things here and there. And, you know, when I drew my own schematic, I did that to basically remove all the guesswork. You just strip away everything you don't need. And then when you look and see what you actually need in the small little place you're working, it's actually not that much. And it's really not as daunting as you would think. I mean, when you look at a schematic, it's electrical spaghetti, you know. But if you get familiar with it and start learning how to do it, it's not as daunting as you would think. So, and that's why I drew out that little schematic, you know. I went from a picture of probably 70 or 80 wires and cut it down to the basic 4. Actually, it was basic 3. One of them was a reverse light. So, I hope you liked the video. I hope this was informative. Let me know if you want to see anything else. The Torino is coming back. Like I said, this is the last good day. According to the Weather Service, winter's going to be here tomorrow. So, I hope you all like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, the Torino's coming back. I got to get a new distributor, and I got to be in a position to where I can... I'm going to pull the pan back off and do it right, and we'll have a video segment on my screw-up. So, I appreciate it, and thanks for watching, and I hope you like what you see, and let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to see. So, thanks a lot.